clear, real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here.
Stretch words like
no fear.
T-4 minutes.
Still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here.
stretch words like T-3 minutes.
Loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here.
Stretch words like T-2 minutes.
They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here.
Stretch words like T-1 minute.
No sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here. Yeah.
T-50 seconds.
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here.
T-40 seconds.
But I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear, real talk lives right here.
T-30 seconds. Stretch words like T-20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no.
Hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to the moderators in the chat. Who do we have in the building? Carmela, Yolanda Patterson, Melissa Merchant, Kyra Pierce, and then we got a new member. Thank you for being a member. If you are not a member, go ahead and get your membership. We're going to go live on Mondays, which is today. So if you do not have your membership, this will be a great opportunity to get your membership, okay? Now we have It's Me, Ash Cakes. Tanisha Pearson is in the house. Mr. Alpha Bravo C, Smooth, PROF, Tanisha. Oh, I already said Tanisha. Tanisha is active in the chat. Veranda is in the house. Who else? Who else? We got Tyrone Phillips, Robin Workout, Shonda, not Rhymes. I like that. Thank you for the 440 Jews, Big Baby. Who else? Who else we got in here? Look, Ghetto Mermaid. Okay. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. Thank you guys for being here. And most definitely, thank you for supporting the channel. I feel so refreshed. I took me a little break because, whoo, I don't know, y'all. I might not be creating content on the weekends. It's going to be by choice only because, whoo, I don't know if I explained to y'all, I'm actually an introvert. This is the most talking that I do all day. So sometimes I get like to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't do anything else. So thank you guys for your support. And as always, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. I certainly appreciate you. If you would like to support the channel, there are a few ways that you can do so. Of course, liking the video, sharing the video, enabling your notification bell. If you obviously want to super chat, you can. If you super chat and you want something read, that's a good way to do it because otherwise I just randomly pick from the comments. Now, if you guys would like to Cash App, the Cash App would be @ Lakeysha Keysha. If you want to send a PayPal, it would be LakeyshaKeysha22 @gmail.com. And then other ways to donate to the channel would be Venmo, and that would be Lakeysha Keysha Media. So that's to everybody who would like to support the channel. Of course, being here, you are supporting the channel. And thank you to so many people who have sent cash apps and you've sent the Venmo donations. So let's get into it, y'all. So listen, I took me a couple days break, child, because the stuff I was seeing online, I was like, what is really going on? Listen. You all, as consumers of content, I'm a consumer of content as well. You really need to decide who it is that you support. As I, from time to time, peruse these internet streets, I'm seeing a lot of backtracking content creators, okay? When I say backtracking, at one time, you were saying, you know what? We feel like, or we know that this needs to be investigated. Listen, guys, we ain't crazy. Us saying that this case needs to be investigated because it needs to be investigated. Now I'm seeing content creators provide commentary that's saying that the audio is fake. Let me make sure y'all understand something. The audio is not fake, okay? The audio was released by a different department, not even associated with CTO. I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to understand this as well. I'm going to just be honest. We can be honest, right? If Nolan Wells drowned, if there was evidence, and when I say evidence, I'm not talking about them faking evidence. I am talking about real concrete evidence. I would be the first one to say, dang, that's unfortunate. But we ain't dumb, and we wasn't born yesterday. We was born on the day, just not yesterday. Okay. So we don't believe that. And guess what? Ben Crump don't believe it either. And Ben Crump is way more highly qualified and educated than me as it would relate to the law. So what we're not going to let these people do is gaslight us, okay? So what I want you guys to understand is be cognizant of the content that you consume, okay? When I get on this good internet, I don't persuade people to do anything. In fact, I say, if you don't like me, leave, I block you, go find you somebody that you like. But when I see content creators now coming out to try to dispel that the audio was fake, which was the same audio they were playing, by the way, which was the same audio that they were getting up all of these, reviews and people to come to their channel, but now they're backtracking. Be cognizant about that. Now, I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to say a few. TMZ, News Nation, and DL. You know who DL stands for. I'm not going to say their name, but people as early as today are on their social medias talking about other content creators as if the content creators are making up stuff and saying that we're not real journalists, we're just content creators. Well, let me make sure y'all understand, okay? I don't care what you consider yourself as, okay? Because then if that was the case, then I would give you a title. Everybody over here is a content creator. I don't care if they were a journalist, they're a content creator over here. You see what I'm saying? So now they want to devalue the people over here on YouTube by saying, oh, they're only a content creator, I'm a real journalist. You're a real journalist with pretty much the same information that we have. So just pay attention to these content creators that's now telling you, well, they consider themselves a journalist, and maybe he is a journalist, but go work for CNN. Oh, I'm sorry, they fired you. My bad. But now they're saying the video, it's not really real. We don't know if it's really real. Pay attention to that, okay? Y'all pay attention to that. You said it, I didn't. Yep. Miss Champagne, Evolution, what you said. What she said is what I said. Exactly. You on your YouTube channel, Mr. Journalist, but now all of a sudden you want to say that the audio is fake. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. Because over here, we standing on business. Okay? Because I may not be a attorney, but I am a graduate of a graduate degree. So I have way above common sense. And what I have stated is this don't add up. 1 + 1 is going to always be 2, no matter which way you slice the cake. Okay? Now, we have had many different versions of what could have happened, and simply because we don't know. Why is it that the state of Mississippi has not released the autopsy when they have already said from day one that he drowned? So if he drowned, why do you think, Black people, that we can't see the autopsy? Because he drowned. Not only are we not able to see the autopsy, they're telling us, well, okay, we were not able to see the autopsy. The family goes to get a second autopsy. And what do? Y'all know what they did. Put it in the chat. They withhold pieces of his body, his throat, and things of that nature. So therefore, the second autopsy cannot be determined. Y'all, we was born on a day, just not yesterday. There's many different things that's just it's not adding up here. Okay. We don't have to make up stuff to figure out that this isn't right. We don't have to do that. We wasn't born yesterday. Now all of this coming out, oh, we gonna sue. Listen, when they made one lawsuit, they didn't stop making them. When they made one attorney, they did not stop making attorneys. Okay. We don't give a damn about any lawsuits, honey. We don't care about that. Okay. Nobody is going to restrict me from talking, and I'm going to say what I said, and I don't care if you like it or if you don't. See, this is how I run my page. You can agree with me. You don't have to agree with me, but I always say, if you don't, why are you here? You know what I mean? You should go find you a page that you agree with. Okay. So I've also said this, guys. I feel like as Black people, We are particularly where we are because of Black people. I'm going to continue to say that because it is about Black and white. Do y'all remember Gabby Petito? Do y'all remember her? When I guess her boyfriend had did something to her, they came up with all kinds of stuff, but that was okay. Yeah, I'm glad y'all reading into what I'm saying without saying who it is, but y'all know exactly who the one person I'm talking to. I don't like stuff like that. I just don't, because if you're standing strong on a position, why are you now backpedaling now? Like, what's going on? What's going on? When people do that, pay attention. It could be some dollars involved. I just want you to understand, when people start telling you what you heard and what you saw is fake. But yeah, he says the toxicology report is fake, but yet you give a title of your video, the toxicology report, as if you're going to show it. So again, these are things that you need to pay attention to. Okay. We're standing on business. I believe that this is a cover-up. Okay. In fact, I believe it's so much a cover-up that I'm going to read to you all what somebody sent me. Now, this is what somebody sent me. Let me go back. Listen to this. Let me make sure my volume is up. And I'm gonna just let y'all know this too, how I really feel. I'm not going to I'm gonna be honest with you all. I feel like if Nolan had really drowned, it would really, I'm gonna be honest, if we had not saw everything else, I would kind of feel better, because living in a world where you can't even trust young adults is a scary place to live. Because I don't care what nobody say, I heard that audio. We wasn't there, but we heard the audio. The audio is not fake. It's not made up. But when a normal person says, we don't know if the audio is fake, you're a journalist and you don't know if the audio is fake? How could it be fake? Well, if it's fake, then go sue the Mississippi Marine, whatever their names is. Then they should be sued. The audio is not fake. Okay. I want y'all to understand this. This is what I'm being told. I'm just going to read it straightforward. It says, Nolan got into an altercation and was choked or held under the water by his neck and drowned. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm just reading what I was told. Panicked, they called the dad or the grandfather, and they came up with a plan to sink the boat to make it look like Nolan drowned as the boat was going down. Do you all remember on the call, they kept saying, pull the plug, and we thought they said in a pool of blood? Well, if you go to Google and if you type in what happens on a boat if you pull the plug, it will tell you that the boat is going to sink. So ask yourself, why would them on a boat that they claim is sinking, why would they be saying pull the plug? Guys, we got to use our common sense. We was born on the day, just not yesterday. Why would they say pull the plug? That don't make sense. So, was the plan to sink the boat to make it seem like Nolan Wells drowned? Well, they couldn't have said a pool of blood. I think they said pull the plug, but we're going to play that again. So I don't care. I'm not even going to address it. Let me stay on. Okay. So Nolan drowned as the boat was going down. So they said that they were going to make a plan to sink the boat. Okay. Because they're saying something happened to Nolan on this boat. In the midst of them carrying out the plan, the dad or grandpa came up with a second plan, and they told the boys, don't sink the boat. Now, again, I don't know if this is true, but it could be if we listen to the audio, which we'll listen to again. What did the grandpa say? The captain said that. The grandpa said, abandon it. Don't go. Why would a grandfather or father say, don't go and help my grandchild that's in the middle of the ocean? See, it doesn't make any sense. So this is where We got to put on our thinking caps, y'all. Think about it. Your child or is in the middle of the sea. Why in the hell would you say, don't go and get them? Don't go and save them. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to come up with something better than the call is fake. The call is not fake. We have various people, and I have another version of it where I'm going to play. But even playing the different versions of the different people, they all really come back to the same thing. There's not too much of a variety of that call. They all pretty much say the same thing. Keep in mind, most of these people are audio engineers. Now, I would not be able to take that call and do anything with it because I don't know anything about audio or engineering anything as it relates to that. So this says, in the midst of them carrying out the plan, the dad or grandpa came up with a second plan, and they told the boys, don't sink that boat. Maybe he's not dead. Just bring him here. Remember, again, we've all came up with our own ideas of what could have happened based on what we heard and based on the things that we saw them say, right? This is what this says. It says, then they canceled the rescue tow heard on the rescue call. Did we not hear them say the call is canceled? She asks, do you want us to send in I think it's like I can't remember, but it's somebody else that's on the water. Y'all can put that in the chat. I don't remember the correct name for it. They canceled the rescue call. Get into this. Another point, guys, that we are totally missing, and this is why we know that this is a cover-up. There were multiple boats. The Guard, well, I don't think it's the National Guard, but anywho, there were multiple boats there. That's the part that they're not telling you. But if you listen to the story, the Coast Guard, yes. When asked if they wanted the Coast Guard, what did they say? No, you're sinking. Do you know the Coast Guard can get there really fast? And you say, don't sink, don't send the Coast Guard. Come on, y'all. We're not born yesterday. On a day, just not yesterday. So they say, don't send the Coast Guard. So what I'm being told is that they were told, bring him back here. They then canceled the rescue tow. We heard this. They had Bart's boat tow the other boat back because they had already pulled the plug on that boat in preparation for the first plan, which was going to do what? Sink the boat. They tried to revive Nolan, but nothing. They got back to shore, and some adults, I can't even read this. And some adults, I'm missing some part of it. And some adults, I'm missing a couple of sentences. I don't even know what that say. They got back to shore, and some adults, something, I don't know what that say. And they, I guess, said, okay, maybe he's not dead. Just bring him here. Okay, I got it. Then they canceled the rescue tow heard in the rescue call. They had Bart's boat tow the other boat back because they had already pulled the plug on the boat in preparation of the first plan. They tried to revive Nolan, but nothing. They got back to shore, and some adults, here it goes, orchestrated an elaborate cover-up. Listen to this, y'all. This is my first time getting this, but I was able to sift through the information, and I said, this seems like adults are involved. This seems like the adults are involved. Guess what I'm reading? When they got back to shore, some adults orchestrated an elaborate cover-up. This is what it says. I'm reading it. Says it right here. They drove that boat around to a few different places, looking for a place to dump Nolan's body. Eventually, somebody took Nolan's body back to Horn Island on another boat and left him there. I don't know if that's true, but in all honesty, it really seems pretty accurate. Because if you guys look at the GPS, and this was even them messing with the GPS, what did we learn? we learned that for a boat that was sinking, they sure was getting around in it, okay? For a sinking ass boat, they were definitely moving around. If you didn't learn anything else, we talked about this. Why do they keep like, so it's like your car, okay? Your car is making this loud noise. Let's just say you get a flat tire, you make it home. Aren't you going to get it fixed? Why are you rolling around? Now, I don't know if that's true, but listen, it is damn well very, very believable. And I'm working on something else too that I got to deep dive before I, decide to come on here and talk about it. Now, again, do you all not think that there's adults involved? Abandon the car, but I want y'all to hear this again, because since I just read that, I want you guys to hear this 𝐶𝐶𝐭 call again, because it says a lot. And if you listen to this, it does sound like exactly what I just read. So let's kind of get into it. Give me a second here.
Detail assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed.
All right. Unless you have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody.
How many? All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
What did I just read to you guys? Do you need the United States Coast Guard? No. Come on now. This is not an emergency situation. It's not. If you are sinking and they're asking you, do you need the United States Coast Guard? And you say no, then you're not sinking. That would be, just like you're in an emergency accident and you call 911. Do you need 911 or not? Do you need the U.S. Coast Guard? And you say no.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm available.
But 46 7.
All right, 46. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance,
Does that sound like somebody that's in need of help? She's asking him a question and he says, yeah, what? This call was not because the boat was sinking. This was a call to say the boat was sinking, because according to the information that I received, that this was the plan after whatever had happened to Nolan on that boat. They were just going to sink the boat and make it seem like, I guess he drowned. Pay attention.
the VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, it looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on Horn Island?
Yeah.
All right. Is the boat sinking or
Keep in mind, guys, they are still on Horn Island. I also want you guys to understand one thing that everybody has admitted to is that there was multiple fights. I'm inclined to believe that they're lying. Yeah, I'm sure there were multiple fights, but I believe that Nolan was involved in something.
you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
Okay.
17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
Been towed to Ocean Springs or Fort Bayou lawn.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on?
Pay attention to the call, guys. And see, I haven't even played the version of this where you can actually hear more in the background. But just listen to how he acts. This is not how a person who's on the damn boat that's sinking acts. This is just not it. There's nothing about this call that's an emergency.
Board, how many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
The reason why he's being quiet is because when I play the next version, you guys will hear in the background what they're saying. So you are in emergency. They're asking you how many people, and you don't know. I think they said it was either 6 or 7. So you mean to tell me you can't count to 6 or 7?
Hey, jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
That was not jump in a pool of blood. That was pull the plug. Why would you pull a plug on a damn boat that you say is sinking? That wouldn't make sense, because if you pull the plug, the boat will sink.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay.
How many adults on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No.
All
Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
My understanding, when she says, is there a living individual on the boat? At first I said, why did she say that? Well, because she was able to hear what was happening before she picked up the call. Is he dead? Remember that? Because I said, why would she say if there is a living individual on the boat? Because she heard what they originally said.
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
There's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
There's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22 foot offshore, 22 foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
She definitely heard the background, guys, but this is a part I want you all to pay attention to. Pay attention to what the captain says. So I'm sure you heard this call before. Well, let's just play it. Listen to what the captain says.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee for service come up under...
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking. and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18. And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24 footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
is it Jerry?
Yeah, yeah. He said, okay. I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, they'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. Because they're in a panic and their boat's on grade.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a kid. He just doesn't understand.
Okay. Do you still have him on the line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And again, I couldn't find, he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership. So it's just under.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to, if you want to, we're so tied up right now. We can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is he a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's.
Pay attention to the captain. The captain understands that these calls are recorded, and she probably does as well, but I don't think she understands that the captain seems to be involved, because you talk to the grandfather on the phone, but yet you don't know if he's a member. First of all, if you are talking to someone on the phone, the first thing you need is the membership number, right? Did she just not ask this kid for the membership number? So the fact that, and also I want y'all to get into this. The grandfather called the captain. How did he reach the captain? Did he say, "Yo, captain"? How did he reach the captain? So let's make it make sense. Nobody needs to tell us this. We were not born yesterday. If the grandfather was able to reach the captain, then he must have his number. How would he reach him then? He would have had to call his personal number. I don't know what other way he would have reached him.
His boat or what? I'm not sure what's going on with it. Transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back as well.
So he's gonna call the grandpa back. Do you know his number? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, this is given a cover up. So these are the things that we are talking about. We're not stupid. So when these folks get on their platforms telling us that we don't know if the call is fake, when all along you have advocated and said this family wasn't treated fairly, yeah, the call is real. You can go and get the call yourself. So somebody that called themselves a journalist discounting the evidence against a Black kid that was unalive is really a problem.
Right. And did you want me to look up membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are strong.
Try the cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
Anything on that phone number.
All right. Yep. He's an active member. Hold on.
What kind of boat do you have? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one. Yeah.
So you guys kind of get the drift. When you come on here and use your platform to discount the evidence that is out there, that's a problem. That's like us saying we don't know if Nolan really died, right? We don't know. We just know what we heard. But to say, well, I shouldn't say we don't know, but I'm using that as a symbol, because to say that the audio is a fake audio, this is good evidence. It's good evidence. And if you're saying that the audio is fake, then you say that this Black woman right here is fake, because she was one of the people that came out and did some work on the audio. Remember her?
The experience in dialogue editing, dialogue cleanup, sound design, and post-production, I decided to work on that 𝐶𝐶 call using traditional audio processing techniques rather than relying on any AI voice separation or AI enhancement. My goal was pretty much to preserve as much of the original recording as possible while making the quieter dialogue and background audio easier to hear. So I basically used techniques such as subtractive EQ, compression, gain adjustments, noise reduction, frequency isolation, and other traditional processing methods. So what I did was I separated Vicky, the 𝐶 dispatcher, from Warren and the audio originating from the boat so that I can concentrate more closely on what was happening behind and around Warren, pretty much on the boat. And I specifically chose not to rely on AI because aggressive AI enhancements and voice isolation tools can sometimes introduce artifacts and distort the speech or create ambiguity around the sounds that were originally present. And for something this serious, I wanted my processing to remain as conservative as possible. You'll also notice time code and dialogue written on the side of the screen and pop up during each segment. That dialogue represents what I personally hear as an audio engineer while processing and repeatedly reviewing these sections. I'm pretty much providing it as a listening reference, not as a declaration that my interpretation is the only possible interpretation. And that's important. I want you to listen for yourself, use headphones if you have them, listen closely, and decide with your own ears what you believe is being said. You can also return to the original unprocessed recording and compare it directly with what you're hearing here. You'll also notice that my time code may not match the regular timestamp on the original uploaded video. And that's because I'm working inside a professional post-production timeline, a digital audio workstation, basically using SMPTE time code, which in film, that's displayed in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Film and TV timelines are completely different from timestamps that you see when you're watching regular videos or when you're watching a movie and you hit pause. So basically the time code on the screen is there to identify the precise location within my working session, not to represent the elapsed timestamp displayed by the original video player. And I hope that makes sense. For this first video, I'm sharing only approximately 37 seconds of the call. I originally intended to continue much further, but once I separated the dispatcher from the boat and started concentrating exclusively on the background dialogue, what I believed I was hearing became extremely difficult for me to process emotionally, and I needed to take a mental break. But I wanted to release this portion because some of the details that stood out most to me occur very early in the call, like right at the top of the call. And so I'm gonna let the audio play. Read my transcription if you want to reference, but don't allow it to determine what you hear. I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Now, you guys, you probably have saw other videos that have come out and they have pretty much done the same thing, guys. And what we know about this call cleanup is they pretty much say the same thing. And if you put anything in my chat about they're suing content creators, I'm going to block you. Okay. I am not going to repeat myself over and over. You're going to be blocked. Don't come in my chat. Okay. You're going to get blocked. I don't care about nothing that you're talking about. This is my channel. I talk about what I want to talk about over here. We got lawyers too. And we ain't got to do a GoFundMe to get them either. Okay. If you put that in my chat, I'm blocking you. All right. You negative energy and you got to go. We are going to talk about Nolan Wells until I decide we're not going to talk about it no more. Until somebody is in jail, we're going to keep talking about it. Okay. If you don't like it, you can leave. Okay, have a great day. Now, as I was saying, as you guys have watched and listened, well, I shouldn't say watch, listen to this call have been, I think it's been done up maybe 3 times. But if you listen to all of the people, like somebody put in the chat, they're similar. It's similar. The call is not fake, okay? It's not fake. So I want you guys to listen to another version of this call. Let me see where I found it. Actually, somebody sent me this one. Somebody sent me this one. Let me see if I can find it. Well, let's just get into it. I don't know where I got it from. Somebody sent it to me, but here it goes. I'm sorry, guys. I want to point out something. Just give me a second. So when you pay attention to the beginning of this call, it opened up my eyes. This was not a 911 call, okay? A 911 call is, I need help and I need it right away. This was more so a distress situation. And as I stated, I believe, okay? So me saying what I think and what I believe is what I believe. I believe this was the catalyst to create that fake information that the boat was sinking. The boat was never sinking. This is what I believe. I believe this was an alibi and a cover-up, because originally the information that I received, which is so crazy because this is what I had started to think. The information that I received said that after whatever happened to Nolan on the boat, they panicked. What we gonna do? So the idea from the information that I received was we're gonna sink the boat. But listen to this other call right here. I'm just going to address one more comment, guys, because I got to address it. So this commenter said, DL said she thinks someone added abnormalities to also he lied on her. I didn't hear her say that. That is so. Let me make sure you understand. I'm glad you said this. This is why I said, and I don't know if you guys heard this. If not, you just rewind this. When I watch content creators, keep in mind, I don't know these people. I don't have a personal relationship. So the thing with content creators, especially if you don't know them, you get one time to show me something and I'm gonna be like, I'm off you, okay? Because I don't know you. So when you show stuff and I see who you are as a person, I become less interested. She never said that. What she did say, let me tell you what she did say, and he twisted that. So I'm glad you're saying that. Memphis Vet 6293. DL said she thinks someone added abnormalities to this recording. That is not what that lady said. Now you see what I'm talking about. See, I didn't even mention that part. I'm glad you picked up on it. That's not what she said. What she said was, and I can play that. I just have to go get it. Maybe we can do it later. This is what she said. She said that the 𝐶𝐶 call that was released, she believed that call had already been edited to take out things. That is what she said. She never once said. So if she said that the call was fake, why in the hell is she doing work to lift the voices out of a fake call? That lady didn't say that. Thank you for being on the money, Memphis Vet. That is exactly what I'm talking about. When you get on here and you stare a narrative and I'm seeing inconsistencies with what you say you're a journalist, and I know that you wouldn't have gotten that out of that. I feel like somebody done put some money in your pocket, or you're trying to steer narrative, because that lady didn't say that. That is not what she said. She said that she believes, she said she cannot be certain. You're going to make me look for it. She said she cannot be certain, but she believed that the 𝐶𝐶 call that was released had already been edited. Okay. Now I'm addressing this comment right here. So I'm going to probably go look for it so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. She never said that. This is what I'm talking about. Be careful about these people that you listening to what they say, because there's a strong narrative now that's being pushed even by these larger content creators. Because let me tell y'all what they do. When you got a larger base of 1 million and some people, you have a wider audience. So, you know, they can be bought. Apparently, allegedly, that's what it's seeming like, because you're strongly advocating, and then you come out and people like, what exactly are you talking about? You're talking about a call that's fake, that you played on your platform multiple times and validated that it was correct, but now you running scared. What? So let me get back to where I was, because I kind of just went on a tangent there, simply because I don't like that shit. I just don't. I don't like it. We are our worst problems. One thing about the white tees, they gonna stick together right or wrong. These folks don't do this. They're so easily to sell each other out. They're so easy to take a few dollars to get, you know, extra followers on their platform, get a few dollars. And it's disgusting. It is very disgusting to me, because you dismiss all of the content creators and say you're not a real journalist. Well, that's crazy, because some of them got way more followers than you, Mr. Journalist. So it's interesting that, you know, you would throw people under the bus. I thought we was on the same page. You see what I'm saying? I thought we were on the same page. I'm on the same page. I don't care if I know the content creators or if I don't know them. I'm on the same page of the content creators that's advocating for the Nolan family. I may not know them, but we on the same page. Now, when you get on here with some bullshit talking about the call is fake, well, I want to see a lawsuit then. If the call is fake, I want to see lawsuits, and you prove that it's fake. You don't get to backpedal now and say the call is fake. The call is now fake because guess what the call does? It plants a whole different narrative. Ain't God good? Ain't God good, okay? They didn't even know that this existed, but y'all want y'all to understand this, good Black peoples. Mississippi knew that it existed. They knew. Mississippi knew that this call existed all while they was telling us that he had drowned. Mississippi knew that this call existed while they sent his body to, Washington, D.C. with no throats. Because guess what? Well, why do y'all think they didn't send his throat? I mean, the message that I got said he was strangled. I mean, if they would have sent his throat, we would have known that he wasn't strangled. Do y'all understand this? This is not about putting anything on anybody. If you didn't do it, the boys that he was with, why y'all keep lying? Why your stories keep changing? Now you're out using his name, creating a GoFundMe or 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐿. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Yeah, they may have a fake toxicology report, but the purpose of my video was when, you know, he knew it was fake when he talked about it, but his headlines say he had the toxicology report. You see how these folks play games? I want y'all to use your brains, okay? Like these folks for what they are, but people is playing in our faces, okay? And some of them look like us. Let's get back into the video. Oh, I should have warned you guys. So this audio plays the same words over just so you guys can hear it. So let me just put that disclaimer out there. The reason why you'll hear it repetitive because they enhanced it, but they played it over, just so y'all know. So you'll hear it over and over. Did y'all hear this is not for entertainment? I have no idea why they're saying this. But what you'll notice in every call is some of these words are the exact same. It's not like the different people that are doing work on these calls is they're saying totally different things. Most of the words are the exact same. Now, this is my first time hearing this is entertainment. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know why they're saying that. One thing that is consistent, oh my God, Bart. Oh my God, Bart. Now, they say that in each and every call. Bart's name. Oh my God, Bart. The message that I received, someone is saying that they believe him and Bart got into it. Well, if they did, that would make sense why they said, oh my God, Bart. And now Bart wants to sue. But apparently, they got to raise the money to sue, which is very interesting. I digress. Nolan, don't die. That's the other word that we've heard repeatedly. Nolan, don't die. Oh my God, Bart. You're going to hear that in every single call. Oh my God, Bart. I don't know what it means, but it says, oh my God, Bart, Nolan, don't die. But they said Nolan wasn't on the boat. I just don't understand, Princess of Darkness. What does it mean? I mean, they said he wasn't on the boat, y'all. Yeah, that don't add up. Oh my God, Bart. Nolan, don't die. We can play this evidence over and over again. Of course, now we have content creators that's going out discrediting this information. They're discrediting this. They're saying that it's fake.
Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? All right.
Wake the F up. Get the F up. Consistency. We heard that. Did we not hear that in every call? There's some things here that's pretty consistent. Now, I would be a little shocked if everybody's audio was different. Then I'll be like, that's fake. But there is some consistency here. Wake the F up. Bart. He's dead. Nah, this ain't fake.
Of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description?
I'm wondering when he's saying shut the F up, was there an argument? I'm just not understanding, They say Nolan's dead. What does that mean? Shut the F up. What does that mean? Was there an argument? I'm being told that there was a fight on the boat, but it allegedly was between Bart and Nolan. Do we know? We don't, but we know that they ain't gonna tell the truth. We know that.
Ankles.
Hello?
Hello?
Nolan's freaking dead. Now, we can argue about the variations of dead, but well, not the variations of dead, but if they said Nolan's dead, Nolan's freaking dead. But one thing they said, Nolan is dead. That is the thing that they said. Now, whether they said freaking dead is not here nor there. Nolan is dead, but Nolan didn't get on the boat, according to them.
Hello?
Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know.
How far is the water coming up, sir? And you don't even know. Okay, princess, sweetheart, you got to get up out of here. You don't get to come in here telling my people to shut the F up. This ain't the place for you. You have a nice day, girl. Okay, don't come in here being disrespectful. If you don't know how to talk to people, then you can watch. Okay, we're not telling people to shut the F up. You get banned for that. So you have a nice day, girl. We are respectful adults over here. If you're going to come over here, you're going to respect folks, then you got to go. Okay, you have a nice day. And don't worry about reporting the video. YouTube already knows that that's what y'all doing. It ain't nothing happening. Have another nice day. Okay, so we know that they're saying he's dead, y'all. I mean, listen, if this was not true, I'd be the first one to say this some bullshit. Nobody is gonna gaslight me, okay? Nobody is gonna tell me what to do. Listen, y'all, I am ready to sue me a mug because I need a few extra dollars. I done told y'all this anyways. Lawsuits is more money for me. So my email is definitely in my bio. Send me anything. If you send me a cease and desist, I'm going to wipe my behind with it, okay? And you file that lawsuit, and then I'm going to sue you, okay? We won't be stopped. We're not these old, these whitewashed content creators. They don't know if they this way or that way. Now today, the audio is fake, but just last week, they were playing the same audio, acting as if they had all this sympathy for the family. Yeah, that's not me. I'm a real one. Yeah, I'm a real one. I'm 1000% real. I don't play those games. Okay. So this is what they want y'all to believe, that the audio is fake. If the audio is fake, you should be suing. If the audio is fake, I'm going to tell y'all who they need to be suing. Just give me a second. Give me a second. I'm about to tell y'all. Then they need to be suing the Mississippi. Let's see here. Let me make sure I got it right. Let me make sure. They need to be suing the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. Okay. That is who they need to sue. They need to be suing the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources because this is who released it. Yeah, I'm going to do a Tasha K, but not a Tasha K, because Tasha K was wrong with what she did. But yeah, we gonna do a Tasha K with that. Okay. We're going to keep talking about it. I can talk about anything I want on my platform. I don't know if they did it, but I can tell you this. They're acting like they did. Okay. I feel like they did. Yes, I do think that they did it. Do I know? No, I don't. But none of us know.
Like we're going down.
All right, well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed.
There's a body on board with us.
All right. I know we have a membership like guaranteed. I don't
All
have
right,
the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a
got
membership
ripped off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right, and is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many-
board.
Yeah, they've been doing stuff like this forever. It's very entitled. I don't know what it is. It's a behavior that's actually disgusting, because at the end of the day, all Nolan's mother has asked for was whatever you would do if the roles were reversed. Nobody is asking for anything special. We as Black people, you know, the only thing we get special is things we do for ourselves. We know this. We don't look for anything special because we do special things for ourselves. We don't expect special stuff from the world. But the mother wants an independent investigation that is fair. And just from the looks of this ain't fair. As you guys know, that they're reporting in the headlines that Bart turned over 20 names. Please ask me, why is Bart turning over names at this late stage of the game? Why wasn't those names turned over before? You know, I see people saying, oh, Bart turned over 20 names. I'm confused as to why those names were not turned over before.
All right, do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
All right, do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
All right, do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right, do you have your current
You don't need the United States Coast Guard, but you're sinking. Oh, okay.
GPS coordinates?
Let me get a look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm available.
You're sinking. Listen, I have been in panic situation. This don't seem like a panic. This seems more of an alibi cover-up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's not adding up. This is just another version of the call. The reason why I'm playing this one is because it shows you the different versions of the calls. They're still similar with the exception of a few different words. But one thing that remains consistent is he dead. Bart, what did you do? Or something to that effect. Yeah, I saw that what you guys put in the chat is Bart is concerned about his NFL career. I mean, maybe he should have been concerned about it while he was on that boat and his name was being called. Why are we having a conversation about a call that was leaked, but he said he wasn't there? I thought that's what he said. Is that about correct?
North, but 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make?
Somebody said, I don't understand why she did not locate, she didn't reach out to the Coast Guard. I'm going to tell you why. Because she probably would have got fired and she probably was instructed to do whatever it was she was instructed to do. I don't know if you just joined, but we did just play the call and she was instructed by her captain to not do anything pretty much. Now, I understand what you're saying. See, if it was me, I would have just got fired, okay? Because that's just who I am. I'm never going to be anything other than me if it means that I'm going to quit my job, because I done quit a lot of jobs. I done probably got fired a few times too. But at the end of the day, everybody not like me. I don't expect everybody to be like me. She did what she was told to do.
Make sure I have it correct.
Sorry, look. Hey,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you.
Yeah, what?
Sorry, look. Hey,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right. Well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right. Looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yeah.
What I want you guys to listen to is these calls are very similar. Shaniqua Town Business said, I stayed quitting jobs too. Girl, we ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole. Yes. So do you guys see how these calls are similar? It's not like, they're far off. The wording is the same, pretty within a few words. Like one thing that is the same is Bart's name and Nolan's dead. Those are very important. You saying Nolan's name and he's not on the boat. And then we're hearing people say, oh, they were in a panic because the boat was sinking. I even heard somebody say, Race Baton Tatum say, oh, they were saying that the boat was dying. What? The boat was dying. So first of all, I don't know how the boat can die when it's not living, but he said that that's what they were meaning when they were panicking. But you clearly hear them say, pull the plug. Why would you pull the plug? Pulling the plug would open up to let the water in. So that just makes no sense. The fact of the matter is they got busted. They didn't realize that they were being recorded. And I said this in a previous video. I just learned something because sometimes I be on hold and I just be saying all type of shit on there, not even realizing that. I mean, I didn't commit no crime, but I'm just saying, I didn't know that when you're on hold, you're being recorded. They didn't know this, which is, some people would say, well, why would they say this? When you call people and it's ringing, did you know that, once it goes into a whole queue that you were being recorded? I didn't know that.
All right. Is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in 17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right. Have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right. Where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou lawn.
All right. How many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question.
Wait, Florence, drop it off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wait, Florence, drop it off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wait, Florence, drop it off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wait, Florence, drop it off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Try to jump in and pull the plug while you're going.
Jump in to pull the plug. Again, if you're going to pull the plug and you say that you're sinking, that doesn't make any sense because you pull a plug, you definitely sinking.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay,
how many adults on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a
And as quiet as kept, this operator knows that he's full of SHIT, because you can kind of tell that she's getting irritated. She's getting highly irritated because she knows, obviously with her job, that she's talked to people who's experienced emergencies all the time. That's why she asks, hey, let me give you the Coast Guard. Right away, he says, no, 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 no. But, you know, you not being very receptive to what she's saying. She understands that it's something else going on here.
Person, a living individual on the boat.
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7 people.
All right, thank you. Does that...
Like 7 people.
All right, thank you. Does that...
Like 7 people.
All right, thank you. Does that...
Like 7 people.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22-foot offshore, 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
So we pretty much listened to this before. I just wanted you all to hear it, because with people saying that the audio is fake, this is just a variation of what other people have pulled out, y'all. And this is pretty much the same thing within, you know, the exception of a couple of words. Now, people have come up with their own idea of what happened. Why y'all think people coming up with their own idea of what happened? It's simply because we're not being told what happened. And now that this audio is out, yes, we're coming up with our own narrative. This is what we do. Now, I want y'all to understand this right here. This picture is the picture that they used on a 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 that they created, saying that they were Nolan friends. Now, let me show y'all something very disturbing here. Okay, they're almost at their goal of $100,000. This is giving symbolism to me. Okay, why would you say that you are Nolan Wells' targeted friends, but use a picture of fish that you just caught and it looked like, you know, they could be hanging by their necks? I just don't understand why, out of all the pictures to use, that you would use this picture. Okay, I'm just not understanding it. They created a GoFundMe and it's been up probably 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. But they basically go on to say that Nolan was their friend and that them as a friend should not have to grieve a loss. They consider Nolan as their brother. However, they didn't show up to the funeral. So I'm not sure how they consider Nolan as their brother. But they go on to say, you know, as if they have been defamed. But from what I gather, people are taking the content that they have put out and the lies that they have put out. And I'm going to say that they're lies because you've said different things in multiple interviews. Like your report is different. There's just too many variations. So if your stories keep changing, you lied. Now, did anybody come out and say this person did it, that person did it? There have been speculations as to what happened. People have only speculated because it's clear that you are liars. I mean, we can't make this up. You have said lies out of your mouth, multiple different lies, and it's just so many to even name, okay? But they go on to say, since Nolan's death, Warren Hudson, Jax, and Morgan Seymour, and many others have been inundated with threats of violence and defamation. Okay. I'm not sure why. Okay, so Warren's name is on here, Jax, and Morgan. Who we don't see Bart's name on here. So there's a bunch of names that's not on here. Now, let me kind of divert here a little bit. I've heard the story about, this guy Bart wanting to play in the NFL and that this is ruining his reputation. I don't care about his reputation, because frankly, I feel like you put your own self in a situation that, you're in a situation. When we listen to the audio, we hear your friends calling your name. We don't know you people. We're just providing commentary. So whatever happens to his reputation, that's his reputation. We're not going to stop talking about anything over here. Whatever he's doing with the NFL, that's on him and that's on them. Okay. We hear them say your name, Bart, on this audio. Why are they saying your name on this audio? The people want to know, did you do something to Nolan? And if you didn't, I don't know. It seems sketchy here. Now, what is being reported is that Bart turned over, let me read what it says. It says, Nolan's friend Bart, which we know Bart is not his friend, handed cops a witness list. My only concern is this. Why is it on July 29th or July 30th that he's handing over this witness list? Nolan has been missing since July 4th. So I'm just not understanding why is it so late with the witness list. These are the things that we find to be very strange as it relates to this case. Handing over a witness list almost 30 days later is very sketchy. And if you think that we're dumb, you should probably look in the mirror because you are the only one that's dumb. Now, they get into saying that it's race baiters and deranged people online. But, apparently these people got a whole bunch more sense than them to go out and give interviews to just tell lies as if we're stupid when they are the only ones stupid. So basically what they're saying is they are collecting money because they are victims. And this is typically what whitey folks do. They become victims in situations that they have created. We see this time and time and time again. We saw this in the Carmelo Anthony case with his drunk father that has an extensive record. And, he is, begging for money. Well, I found this very, very interesting that in this actual 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, they actually referenced Carmelo Anthony's name, which I thought was very weird because I don't know what Carmelo Anthony has to do with this. But what they did was they tied the situation into the Carmelo Anthony case and basically said that there's a bunch of people that's race baiting online. But our only question is, why did a Black Nolan go to Horn Island with a bunch of beige people and he didn't make it back? So you can call it race baiting or you can call it whatever you want. The question still remains the same. It still remains the same. But as it relates to this picture, I want to know, why would they decide to use this picture on this 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 that they created for Nolan? I feel like it's symbolism to me. Why are you guys using this picture? You don't have any pictures of your friend that you say is your friend, but you use this picture? Don't y'all find this very odd and very weird? Do you not find it very odd and very weird that they scrub social media pages, remove pictures and content of Nolan? There was also a picture that circulated online with Nolan being at this pool party on the 4th, and they deleted that. Well, they thought they deleted it and it was still over there on Threads. But does that make any sense? Why are you deleting content? What's the reason for deleting it? But you say you're friends. I think they hated Nolan. I don't think he knew it, but I believe that they hated him. They didn't like him. They could have been very jealous of him. Here's the deal, y'all. We saw this same thing in the Carmelo Anthony case. You got Carmelo Anthony, who's living a great life. His family they're not white trash like, those other folks. And those people seem to be very jealous and hateful of Carmelo's life. So that's just something to think about. It's something to think about. it's definitely something to consider. Let me read some of y'all super chats. I'm sorry, I just don't be liking to stop, but let me read y'all stuff here. My bad. I understand you well. I understand that subpoenas have already been issued by the Wells family and legal team to SM platforms. Yes, that is true. Yep, they did do that. We got Bean BJ. Wonder if operator was questioned what she heard. I don't know. I don't know. Good question. Nora the skin doc. Okay. I believe him saying he has a membership is code for the brotherhood. No, we love you. Yes, I have a membership. Okay, well, what's the name? What's the something? Give us something. Warren Hawkins in the chat, 6515. Something's wrong with you people. Check it out. Something's wrong with you people. Check it out. Oh, okay. King David, the only reason you would deny the Coast Guard, which would be faster service, is because the Coast Guards are federal officers, right? Exactly. The Coast Guard gonna be there like that. Faster boats, faster everything. Exactly. So my question is, how are you sinking? Chrissy Flowers, thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah, it just don't make sense. And that's all we're saying. Like, we were born on a day, just not yesterday. None of this stuff makes sense. It makes no sense. And this picture just had me thinking, like, why they use this? You know, they claim Nolan is their friend, and you go get a picture of you with fish tied around. Yeah, I think it's symbolism. If you guys think back in your minds, a lot of this stuff that we're finding out now was stuff that people had leaked online. A lot of this was leaked online, but we don't want to just be going with these internet narratives. But now that it's coming out that he seems like he passed away on their boat. Yeah, I believe that. Now, a lot of people are saying that Bart has a strong hand in this. If you guys recall, he was 21, I believe, and they're saying that allegedly he could have been the one that provided the alcohol. People are saying that the others could have been afraid of him. There's a nuance of different things that people have said about Bart and what he has done. They have taken they little broke ass over to the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢 and created this fund to try to scare people, which is actually funny, okay, that you are creating a 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫 account on somebody else's son. Okay, it's very weird. And also, guys, it goes to how trashy these people are. Like, who does that? Now, this content creator gives a great perspective. Let's listen to what he has to say.
This is allegedly, but I believe that Bart did it. I believe that Bart had some type of relationship with Katie. Katie was obviously with Nolan. Bart had a jealous rage seeing a young black male with a white female. We know in states like Mississippi, I see it all the time in my community, where white guys get jealous to see black guys with white girls. I've seen it a million times, and people who deny this are flat out lying. I believe what happened was that Bart put Nolan in a chokehold, and he didn't realize his own strength, and Nolan did not wake up. Hence the reason why we hear in the background of the 𝐶𝐶𝐭 call, we hear, "Damn it, Bart, Nolan, wake the fuck up, is he dead?" All this is allegedly now. Well, if he just accidentally killed him, then why wouldn't they bring him to the police? Because Bart has so much to lose. He was the star football player on his way to the NFL. A manslaughter charge, whether it's involuntary or voluntary or a negligent homicide, is not going to look well on his resume and would obviously disqualify him from his NFL career. Because of his football stardom, and apparently he has a family with the same pedigree, he has clout around town enough to get people to remain silent, enough to help construct an alibi, and also put the fear of God in these kids. Tell them that you're also going to be implicated in this, and we're all going to go down. We're all going to be arrested. Also, why they tried to place Bart not at the scene initially. Now, they went on a speaking tour. Warren did the most talking, and listening to him talk with Officer Tatum, he almost did too much talking and told on the crew. Warren says that when they got the boat back, that he went upstairs to talk to the father of one of the kids. rather than hanging out with everybody downstairs, he says that they were talking about boats up there. Now, why would you even bring this up? Like, why would this even be a part of the story if it was such an innocuous thing that you were just going upstairs to randomly talk to a father about boats? The reality is because they weren't talking about boats. They were constructing an alibi and a cover story. And when they came downstairs, it was automatically like, oh, what happened to Nolan? Where is Nolan? Has anybody seen Nolan? Let's call the Coast Guard. Why would they call CASHAPP? Why would they call the Coast Guard? Because it creates a timeline. It creates like a paper trail of where they could have been anywhere but with Nolan. Also, why would you call the Coast Guard if you truly believe that Nolan just was behind with the girl Katie? Even if Katie had came back at that point, why wouldn't you think he's off with some other girl or doing something else? Why would you think something nefarious happened? Why? Because you had his phone and you knew that something nefarious happened. Again, this is allegedly. Let's smoke them out. What doesn't come out in a wash always comes out in a rinse.
I believe he gave a very good perspective. And this is some of the things that you guys have said in the chat. And honestly, his own mother had, put out a statement saying something about the NFL. So he got a lot of stuff going on, and it looks like he doesn't want to be associated with this. Does this mean he did not have an involvement? Absolutely not. I mean, who would want to actually be associated with something like this? But hey, we're going to keep talking about this case. Now, as you guys have saw here, when I originally, if you guys are just getting to the live, you're going to have to rewind it. But we had talked about different people now seeming that they're, backpedaling and switching up. We know that TMZ from the inception has told a bunch of BS, okay? They have from the beginning, and actually coming in to this story, if I remember correctly, TMZ was not even one of the first people to be on this particular story, but they immediately reported that this kid had drowned. Again, not waiting for the autopsy, not waiting for the full information to come out, but to hurry up and put this information out as if he drowned, to me, was reckless. But this is all information and stuff that we have always seen with TMZ. So are you guys surprised? I'm not.
Great, unless we come up full transparency here, exactly what they found.
If the DA starts to bend to social media, God help us.
Hey, this is Trent Out Loud, YouTuber. I think the judge threats and the Benjamin Crump defamation lawsuit is just a distraction. I think it's incredibly telling that
See, I like people like whoever this guy is. That's who I am. Say what you have to say with your whole chest. Stop backpedaling and pee-pee popping, pussy popping, okay? I said from the beginning, I feel like going after Ben Crump, you can go after Ben Crump all you want. You're going to waste your time. Ben Crump, he probably the one that you don't want to mess with, okay? He is not the one to play with, okay? Going after Ben Crump, and then these people, the judge, saying, oh, I'm a victim. You want to take the shine off of this hurting mother and put it on yourself and say you are being harassed, but yet this mother has to wake up every day trying to figure out what happened to her son. But you want to overshadow that with threats that you say you're receiving? Ma'am, keep it to yourself and go and get the police. We don't need to know, nor do we care. I don't care about any threats that she's referring to. She should go and call the police. All of that was a total distraction so that you guys can be overwhelmed with bullshit. Keep in mind too, guys, why is it that they want to put more emphasis on these so-called threats and somebody is dead? Should we, well, what are we doing here?
White woman goes out and shows us the threats she's getting, and within days there is an arrest, but there has been zero arrest when it comes to the Nolan Xavier Wells case. Do you have any idea how many threats Christine has gotten? How come nobody arresting for the people that are threatening her?
Well, no, listen, you first have to determine if there's foul play, right? And I don't know that they've determined that yet. So you don't go out and start arresting people until you know, A, if there's foul play, and B, who did it. But just because there hasn't been doesn't mean there's not a real investigation behind it.
Agreed. But now let's talk about that picture that you showed up of the boat. We got that picture from Officer Tatum, former Officer Tatum. How do we know when that picture was taken? We have no metadata. We have no proof.
Again, they are coming up with all of this information and wanting you to believe it. Officer Ray, why are we even calling this guy an officer? I mean, it's very interesting that a grown man is using the name of his previous job. Ain't it Brandon Tatum or Race Baton Tatum? He shows a picture. We don't have no metadata. We don't know when this picture was taken. People have pointed out inconsistencies as it relates to this particular picture. And one of those things are they changed their clothes.
How do we know that? And also,
well, no, but what the video? It's not a pic. We're talking about.
Well, he put out pictures and video. But
I know, but the video, we can align the video with the distress call, and he wasn't on that boat.
Yeah, but
how can you align video with a distress call? From what y'all were hearing, do you think somebody was taking videos? Would that even make sense? That would make no sense, right? This is not real. This is a distraction and more lies. There is a narrative being pushed that they want you all to believe that Nolan drowned. I'm not saying people don't drown, but the circumstances don't add up. It don't add up, okay? None of this adds up.
Harvey, how do you know? Has former Officer Tatum, has he provided you guys with the metadata? Do you know 100% when that video and those pictures were taken? Can you confirm to me right now that it was taken on July the 4th?
That's what we have concluded based on everything we've looked at, metadata, talking to people, and aligning it with the distress call. Yeah. Now, look, anything is possible. I'm certainly not saying it wasn't foul play because I don't know. It's just, I think, jumping to conclusions at the beginning and starting to point fingers at people without.
You hear those same talking points? Now, if you've been here for the whole video, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Those same talking points, jumping to conclusions. No one's jumping to conclusions. Jumping to a conclusion. They jumped to a conclusion by saying he drowned. How do you know that he drowned? Have an autopsy been released? What information, TMZ, do you have when you made that initial statement saying that he had drowned? How much money were you paid, TMZ? I mean, come on now. He drowned, but they kept his throat. I digress.
Not really knowing. It may be fair, but what if it's really unfair and you're kind of tarnishing people who really shouldn't be tarnished? Shouldn't that be a concern?
I think of anybody who...
You're concerned about the YT's reputation. So because you're concerned about their reputation, we can't have a conversation as to what we think is not adding up. TMZ needs to find something else to do because you cannot trust anything they say. I said this before. At one point, I believe, I thought TMZ was okay. But there was one point when I figured out that they lie. And that's, when they did that stuff to Corey Holcomb. And I figured out, I said, these people are liars. I feel like TMZ is one of those blogs or whatever that can be paid. So now they're telling you to back off the YTs.
Jump to conclusions first was the Mississippi officers that jumped to conclusions 1 hour after finding his body and said, no evidence of foul play. They jumped to conclusions, not us.
Well, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
They just want the truth.
I think that's fair. I also think there is a spotlight on them right now, and they know they better do a thorough investigation.
Yeah. Probably the same damn spotlight that's on TMZ, with the lies that they're putting out here. It just don't add up. Like I was born on a day, just not on yesterday. Okay. This is just, these people are now taking different positions as it relates to this case. You're going to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention to particularly these larger content creators and how y'all going to start to see them backpedal. While Christine Wansley, all she wants to do is find out what happened to her son. Listen, if I was, I don't want to be Christine, but I'm just saying, if any of us was in any situation like this, we want to know what happened. How do you rest? It's going to be incredibly hard. She will never move on, but it's going to be incredibly hard to even put steps in place of healing. You don't even know what happened. You don't even know what happened to your son. Christine said, my strength comes from the Lord above. I do not have the luxury of falling apart. I have to keep advocating for my son who is no longer here. Don't mistake me not crying and hollering as me not grieving. Please continue to pray for me and my family as we navigate life without our sunshine. Negative comments will be deleted and blocked. So just keep your comments to yourself.
Why didn't anybody help him?
Attorney of the Nolan Wells case. What is one question you're not only going to answer, but something you want Americans to know?
But we will not stop until we get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells.
Yes.
Somebody knows something.
Right.
Somebody saw something.
Right.
That is the question we want answered. The audio, the photographs, the video, everything is helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Destiny. If they're going to say it's an accident drowning, why didn't anybody help him?
Attorney of the Nolan Wells case. What is one question you're not only going to answer, but something you want Americans to know?
But we will not stop until we get to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells.
Yes.
Somebody knows something.
Right.
Somebody saw something.
Y'all heard that? Ben Crump said, we're not stopping. We're not giving up. We're not stopping. We're going to keep on talking about Nolan Wells. Something happened to Nolan Wells. We know something happened to him. We know that something happened to Nolan Wells. We ain't stopping. In fact, we just begun. We just started.
Right. That is the question we want answered. The audio, the photographs, the video, everything is helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Des.
We want to know what happened to Nolan Wells. We won't stop. We're not stopping. We ain't going to stop. In fact, like I just said, we have just begun. Because if we didn't know before, if we were uncertain before, we know for sure, very, very for sure, that something bad, happened to Nolan Wells. And it looks very much like a cover-up. Some of you guys put in the chat about the grand jury. Listen, y'all can Google this. I'm not a lawyer, but I've Googled this and I know how it works. They don't need a grand jury. All they need is probable cause. There's so much probable cause out there, y'all. All they need to do is take it to a judge and get it signed. But I want you all to understand, his mammy, I don't have any respect for her, so I'm going to refer to her as mammy. His mammy judge, she is a judge. So y'all know y'all know how that works. It's like at your job, whatever you do. Everybody that do what you do at your job, you cool with them. So the judges, it looks like, don't feel comfortable signing a warrant against this woman's son. Okay. So therefore, they're leaving it up to the grand jury. This is what they say. Okay. But I want you guys to understand, they have stated this before time and time again, that you can indict a ham sandwich. Let me make sure you guys understand that. A grand jury is one-sided. You know how when you go to court, if you're convicted of something, you get to come to court and get your lawyer and bring in witnesses. Yeah, you don't get to do that with a grand jury. It's one-sided. It's the prosecutor presenting his or her evidence to the grand jury. So they can pretty much say whatever. You know, they can present it however they want. You don't get a say in that. So what that means is, I mean, the grand jury can put forward an indictment. I believe, I'm just going to tell y'all what I believe. I don't believe nothing is going to happen, because if they wanted something to happen, they do not need a grand jury for that. They don't need a grand jury. They have probable cause enough to pretty much get a warrant. It could be a situation where these people feel like, listen, I'm friendly with this lady. I know this lady. So I don't want it on my hands that I put these charges on her son. So perhaps they're doing it to say, okay, we're going to put it in the hands of the grand jury, because therefore, if the grand jury does it, we can just be like, listen, we didn't have nothing to do with it. We just presented it to the grand jury. But I want y'all to understand, I have a bad feeling about this, because justice is justice. It doesn't matter who it is. Just like Ben Crump said, listen, Ben Crump says, I want to find the truth no matter who it acquits or who it, what he say, acquits or exonerates, or who is held accountable for doing whatever it is that they do. But essentially what the district attorney is saying is she doesn't want to be the one to go to the level of getting a judge to do whatever they need to do to put a charge on this person. They don't need a grand jury to do it. I just want y'all to know that. I tried to, who is this? Smitty. I tried to research where Grandpa got all the power from besides owning the boat company. There's no record of who his parents are. Well, you just have to see. You just have to see. So I just want y'all to understand that the grand jury, I don't know. Again, it could be that she doesn't want to make it seem like she put charges on this lady's son. I don't know. But it seems like to me, if you signed up to be the district attorney, you should be able to do your job regardless of who it is. You know, district attorneys are elected position. Y'all need to get rid of this lady down in Mississippi. I mean, I feel like in an investigation, I understand, you know, there's some things that they can't tell us, but you know, I feel like they could say a whole lot more than what they're saying. All right, I want you guys to watch this video here, because Ben Crump recently did a video, and I will have to stop it from time to time. I cannot play it all the way through because this is another content creator's content. But Ben Crump did do this interview here. Let's kind of get into it.
I want to get into. I know you're a busy guy, so I don't want to take up that much of your time. Nolan Wells, for the people that's unfamiliar with that case, can you break that down?
Certainly. Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old Black teenager who on 4th of July was celebrating with his friends, and he went out on Horn Island. He went with his 3 other friends, at least what we have in the photograph, and they were young white teenagers. He was the only Black teenager, and somehow they all came back home safely on the 4th of July, but Nolan Wells did not come home. His mother, their families announced that he was missing. They were, you know, out of their mind with concern. And then his body was found washed up on shore 2 days later, face down, dead. And so then everybody started to try to say, well, what happened? When you look at the videos, there were 300, 400 people out there. And what we've been saying, somebody knows something, somebody saw something. There was a young lady named Katie who said that, you know, she was talking to Nolan, but then he got back on the boat with the people he came with, or got back on the boat with the boys. And the boys who were on the boat with him said, Nolan said he was going to stay behind with Katie, and that he was not going to go back with them.
I want to kind of say something here because I'm going through some information that I'm not going to tell y'all about until I'm done. So I got a few more pages here that I'm going through. They talk about Katie, but do you guys realize in the report they gave names of other people? So why they keep saying Katie, it seems like they made up a whole bunch of names. One of the people that they stated that Nolan was allegedly with, she said she hadn't saw Nolan in about a year, nor had she talked to him. And in fact, she was on a whole nother island. So it's a lot of inconsistencies in their stories.
One of the things that has been bewildering is the fact that if he says he's going to stay behind, why doesn't an 18-year-old get their cell phone? If they're not going to go with the boat, why would they leave it with them? His mother, you know, called his phone 3 times, got no answer after they started getting concerned. And it was when they did the...
Listen to this, guys. His mother called his phone. Imagine you having someone's phone while, it's ringing because they're looking for him. Did you at some point say, wait a minute, let me call him back and let them know I have Nolan's phone? Something about this story, well, I shouldn't say something about this story. There's a lot of stuff about this story that just don't add up.
Life 360, you know, trying to say, find my phone, is when she found out that the phone were with the friends. And so her friend went to get the phone. And when they got the phone back, they discovered that there were a lot of Snapchat messages that were deleted. They also found that there were some texts deleted. So that was very concerning to them as they're trying to figure out, you know, what happened to my child? Our child is dead and we have no answers.
So Nolan went on a vacation, short vacation trip with his friends. Just going to use my daughter for a quick reference. She just did some activities with her friends. She got all these videos and pictures. This is what they do. So Nolan went on a vacation, little boat trip or whatever to Horn Island, but there's nothing on his phone. Y'all know this is not what they do. His mother has already stated that he was a Snapchat person. I believe that's the app she said. If I'm wrong, y'all put it in the comments. There was nothing. No videos, nothing. Yeah, that don't make sense.
Nobody's telling us anything. And so it became just an incredibly painful ordeal for them trying to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then America became engaged in this matter because it wasn't adding up to anybody. You know, he says, I'm going to stay behind, but he leaves his cell phone. He doesn't have his car keys. You know, well, if he's staying behind and you don't have any of that information, people are saying, did he stay behind? And so that becomes a question. And, you know, obviously there's this 𝐶𝐶𝐭 audio that comes out that people have did forensic audio engineering on it to try to see what was being said on the audio recording of the CASHAPP counter 911 type call. And it's in that call that people say they hear certain things. We have retained audio engineering experts to be able to decipher and to render expert opinions on the validity of the CASHAPP 911 audio that seems to suggest things about the presence of Nolan. And so we are trying not to speculate. We're trying.
What Ben, I didn't realize I was on mute. So what Ben Crump is doing, which I love, is he's going to get his own people or whoever, I don't know who he has, and they're going to go through the audio themselves. Because keep in mind, we hear the audio, but they want to be for sure. Like he said, we don't want to speculate. We want to make sure we're doing this correctly. And this has been the consistency with this entire case. They just want to know what happened to Nolan Wells. So he's going to kind of talk about how they're going to get their own people to kind of go through this call to see what it is that they hear.
To investigate, but we are asking questions that don't add up to us. And that's what everybody's been doing, because everybody says, how can this 18-year-old college football player who's in tip-top shape just go missing and nobody knows anything? Nobody's seen anything. And the sheriff within, hours after he was discovered, his dead body, they claimed that, that no foul play, accidental drowning is what they suggest.
Remember, guys, the district attorney did this. Right after his body was found, they said no foul play. How do you determine this? Aren't you supposed to conduct an investigation? Right off the bat, there was no foul play. So they went into this entire case with a bias of that nothing happened. So we see now why in August people are giving up 20 names when the name should have been given up within a couple of days of his body washing up. So I don't know what's going to happen with this grand jury. I see somebody just put in the chat how many people it takes to actually render a grand jury decision. Now, I don't know if you just joined, but what you need to understand is they don't actually need a grand jury. This is something that they're deciding to go through. So my concern is if the district attorney is afraid to go and get a warrant from a judge, it makes me speculate as to what her performance is going to be in front of this grand jury. Because keep in mind, when you bring in a grand jury, you have to put on a case and try to convince them that what you're saying is correct. Keep in mind, presented to a grand jury is very one-sided. So, you only lose if you want to lose.
And his family are saying, we can't accept that when you make that conclusion without doing no investigations. And so what they want is a full, impartial, fair investigation into what happened to Nolan Wells. In our community, we see people investigated very zealously. And so we want the same thing for our children. We want them to zealously investigate this matter, just as if they would if the roles were reversed. And that's what I think has people in the minority community saying, hold on, we want to know what's on everybody's phone. We want to know social media, because all of that could become very relevant information as to what happened to Nolan Wells.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the woman that Nolan was hanging out with when he was at the island, Katie, her sister Gracie, came out and said that Nolan intended to go back to the mainland with his friends, right?
Yeah, there seems to be a conflict in what they're saying. They said he stayed with the young lady. The young lady said no, he got back on the boat. And so, that seems to be one of the biggest issues that everybody is trying to figure out, as well as the independent autopsy where he had red discoloration at the back of his brain that was found.
And guys, that's probable cause right there. For one, you say that he went with this girl named Katie. Katie says, no, he did not. I saw him walking toward the boat. That right there is all they need. Now, with the call that's circulating, which I feel like Mississippi already had this call, I don't know what more information you need. But what I feel like is that there is a push to protect these adults because they're not kids. I feel like there is a push to protect them, because this would not be the result of an investigation had the roles been reversed.
In the second autopsy, and also the fact that the initial state medical examiner kept possession of Nolan Wells' throat. And we don't know why they did that. Our pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, said when he was the chief medical examiner for the city of Washington, D.C., that they normally would do that it wasn't uncommon if they suspected that there might be some fracture or some compressions to the throat.
So after y'all did the autopsy, from what you know, what do you believe that was on the back of his neck?
We can't speculate. We know that we think Dr. Roger Mitchell should have the benefit of looking at all.
So, if you guys, recall and you've been following this story, you know that the family sent the body to get a second autopsy that they had to pay for. It wasn't free. This was something that Colin Kaepernick paid for. And they were not actually able to get it because it was inconclusive, simply because they needed a bunch of information. Some of the information that they needed was his very organs that was never sent. So how did you, wait a minute, not only did they not receive the organs, they stated they didn't even receive anything that came with the body that said, okay, well, we didn't send this because it's, we're getting extra, clarification, nothing. No clarification or no follow-up. Sent his body with missing organs. They knew that it would be impossible to conduct an autopsy without all of his body parts. Not only did they not know this, they also knew that the second autopsy would have needed all of the pictures that they took when they found his body. Because keep in mind, y'all recall what they stated was, even if Nolan Wells drowned, we don't know if he was put in the water by somebody or if he entered the water on his own. So one of the things that they stated was they needed those pictures because the first autopsy would have been conducted. They would have had everything, but they didn't receive anything. And I think this was done with intent and by design.
Autopsy notes and observations and photographs from the first autopsy, and then have, the state medical examiner be able to look at all of his notes from the second autopsy and try to work together to figure out what conclusions that they can draw from the autopsies, both of them. And then also waiting for toxicology. That becomes a factor in finding out the manner and cause of death. But Dr. Mitchell said, and this is a very, very important, he said, if it's a drowning, then that still doesn't answer the whole question of what happened to Nolan Wells, because he said then there are questions about, was Nolan Wells' condition of his body conscious or unconscious when he went into the water? Furthermore, he said, did he go into the water unforced or forced? He said all those things become factors.
Makes a lot of sense. And I know his friend Warren Hudson, he came out with an interview where he made a statement about how Nolan, he was.
I'm going to address this because I don't like misinformation. So someone is putting into the chat that the district attorney is forced to use a grand jury with a felony. That's incorrect. Okay. I don't care what you looked up. Okay. You ain't a lawyer, and neither am I. There's a real attorney, former judge, Carlos Moore, I believe his name. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. He's already stated that they don't need to take this process. So because he stated it, and I believe what he's saying, because he's been a judge before, I don't need to research that. See, what I do is I stay in my place. I don't go think that I'm anything above what I really am. Carlos stated he has been a judge before, right there in Mississippi. They do not need to go through the grand jury. So, honey, I don't know what you read or what you think you know, but unless you're an attorney, we're going to let the attorneys deal with that. He's already dispelled that, so that's not true. If he would have said something different, I would have thought something different. But again, I ain't finna waste my time trying to say that I know more than an attorney. The attorneys has already spoken. As a matter of fact, he hasn't been the only attorney that has spoke up on that. It's been multiple attorneys. So, these folks study law. They know what they're talking about. So that's not true. They do not need to go through a grand jury. Okay? I'm not a lawyer. Are you a lawyer? You can read the situation or the Constitution all you want, but until you get a law degree, you can't really challenge a lawyer. So again, I like to stay in my place. That's like me saying that, I'm going to tell a doctor something, and I've never been in law school. So, I'm smart, but I'm going to stay in my lane. So yeah, that's not true.
Drinking liquor on the boat. You heard about that?
Well, we don't know. We want the toxicology to come. We know when you hear the 𝐶𝐶 audio call, it appears that there was some intoxication. But again, toxicology can tell us that. And people's firsthand eyewitness testimony can tell us that. We want answers. As I've said over and over again, I am for truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. I am for justice.
If you guys, you can go back and look at the videos. What they stated was they're going to a grand jury because they made it seem like they didn't know who did it. And I said, that's a red flag right there, because I'm not sure how you take anything to a grand jury and you don't know who did anything. So I, again, like to give out real information. And when several attorneys who have graduated from law school say that they don't need a grand jury, I'm going with what they said. Okay. I don't need to read that. They qualified to do to practice law, not me. So this was a pretty good interview that Ben Crump gave, but I'm going to show y'all something that I'm working on. Okay. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. Hopefully I'll get done with it by today, but there's a whole bunch of information that people missed simply because it's a lot of information out there, honey. In this report that was released by the Mississippi Marine, what is the name of it? I keep missing it. Let me just check here. I always confuse the name. It's the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. Honey, this report, it tells so much information. And this is why I believe that they are definitely involved with the unaliving of Nolan Wells. We have the tape, the audio that came out, but this young lady breaks it down on TikTok, and I went and looked up everything she said, and she was right on the money.
Figured out the Nolan Wells timeline. I know how they messed with the GPS. I figured it all out. I figured out the lies that are based in truth. I figured it all out, and I've got proof. But stick with me because it's going to be a long video, y'all. Now, I found a 15-page Marine Patrol report that had lots of little details that prove that the boys had been lying. So I've already shown how at 1:30 in the morning, the initial Lieutenant Odom with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office said that his deputies spoke with several of the friends who traveled to the island on the vessel with Nolan. And they said that he left in the company of an unknown female and that he chose to remain on the island.
So what was the next step? Did you guys ever engage with police? Or
Yeah, so the first time I talked to the police was July 7th. I talked to the lead investigator, and I told him my whole story top to bottom. Dot every I, crossed every T. I told him everything I knew, every little detail.
Well, that's a lie now, isn't it, Warren? Because you talked to them at 1:30 in the morning that night. I mean, did you just forget to tell the cops about Katie? Because it's not like you didn't know it was her or you didn't know how to get in contact with her.
The girl that he was with, Katie, had texted somebody that she heard people yelling. Correct. Nolan yelling.
Yeah, and I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking. Everybody was texting Katie, because she was obviously seeing Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat.
But Katie says that she assumed that she went on the boat after y'all were yelling at him. And let's not forget that the last time you saw him was 3.
Well, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms.
And yet for some reason around noon, the name of another girl who hadn't even seen Nolan in a year was given to the patrol to go interview, saying that she was with that group, not Katie.
Very important. Again, she is on the money. I went through everything she said. Keep in mind, they say she was with, they claim he was with a girl named Katie. In the report, they give a whole different girl, and it ain't even Katie. So do you guys see why this doesn't make sense? The stories keep changing. What they say on these podcasts, what they have said, and the documentation, it doesn't add up. So he was with Katie, but in the documentation, you said he was with another girl, and this girl said she had not talked to Nolan in a year, hadn't saw him or talked to him in a year.
They also gave the name of a couple of other friends who they weren't able to get in contact with. And despite having a picture of a text message from Katie, funny how you didn't share that with Officer Tatum. Probably could have cleared up some stuff real quick, right? Now let's get to the data. Now, at about 1:30 on July 5th, they were doing a flight of drones based on the relation of the last known anchor position of the 𝐟𝐸ℎ𝐸ℎ𝐸 vessel, which I have documented right here. 4:30, Officer Strickland contacted Jennifer Pyrone, who was Wyatt's mother, who told them that he had already spoken to officers earlier in that day, but they were happy to cooperate with any investigation. And she let this officer take a picture of the GPS. Officer Strickland observed the track line showing Pyrone's vessel location on Horn Island, then gave coordinates.
Now, I want y'all to listen to what she said. One of these parents did not allow them to take the GPS information. She allowed them to take a picture. Okay. Now, why would she not allow them to actually get the information, but take a picture? I want y'all to understand what it means. They was able to take a picture, but they were not able to get the full download. Why would a parent not allow that to happen? I want y'all to understand something else. After the Department of, Marine Resources or whatever, tried to get this information from one of these parents, I believe, and I'm going to say I believe, and allegedly, I believe this parent complained to whoever they knew as it relates to somebody at the Jackson, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, because it says right after that, the next line on this report is this officer was informed that they did not have to do anything else on this case and that it was being transferred to Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, and that Jackson, Mississippi would take the lead. I thought that was extremely strange. The parent also, which I'll get into the parent's name and all of that later, but when this parent was asked about information as it relates to Nolan, do you know what this parent said? Her son had already been questioned. Wait a minute. So his friend is missing and you seem irritated that you're being asked the same thing twice? Don't that happen in investigations? They keep asking you the same thing over. The parent got upset, and I'm going to say she got upset because if somebody asks you something and you say, well, I already was asked that, you got an attitude. You got an attitude because you should have just answered the question. Her response was, he already answered those questions, but I will be happy to answer them again. Girl, please. Then don't tell me that he already answered them and just answer these questions as many times as I asked. Right after this, the case was transferred.
I'm going to need you to remember this exact phrasing. It's going to be important later on. This was the GPS coordinates from the picture that the officer took, meaning that these coordinates had to be a different one that was verbally given over the phone by Wyatt. And you'll notice they're quite different. Now you'll notice that this incident report says the involved entities are Bart Edmington and Jerry Adkerson, not Wyatt. Even though Wyatt is 18, he should be on this report. And you could argue that they were just giving the names of the people that owned the boats, but somehow I doubt that 21-year-old Bart owns that boat. You'll notice on this report that 2 different pieces of GPS evidence were collected. So now we're going to go to the July 8th report where they came and they took those GPS coordinates from both the Adkerson boat and Bart's boat. Yellow is Bart, blue is the grandfather Jerry. You know, the same Jerry that called and canceled the CASHAPP as the CASHAPP phone call was being made. Now, mind you, this is 3 days after the police had come and spoken to the mother and gotten the GPS coordinates. Now, Bart had a germane GPS map chart plotter. Jerry's boat also contained a germane GPS map chart plotter. Now, I had to look up the difference between waypoints, tracks, and routes. So waypoints mark specific spots. Routes connect them in a planned order, and tracks record your actual path. Now, according to that GPS data, there is no movement from 11 to 4:30, but we know that that's not true. Warren has never been able to logically explain how they ended up so far away from the shore. Because according to him, he said at 3 o'clock, that was the last time he saw Nolan, Bart was trying to yell at him to get on the boat. His brother got into a fight, so he got his brother to come over there. That's when he saw that it was all sinking, because he said this.
There's a lot of people on, so that it drags water in, and eventually, I think over time, we were out there for a couple hours. The boat just started filling up with water, so I popped the starboard side hatch, and the battery was completely underwater.
Yes, but according to Warren, he had just seen Nolan like neck deep cradling a girl at the boat next to them. So how did they end up in 31 feet of water at the 4 o'clock call? There's an hour in between that. If the battery is submerged, how would they even get away from the sandbar? You can see in the background of this picture, they are far away from people. And yet this GPS is saying that you were stationary the whole time. But why? Especially because we have actual fucking proof right here. We have the coordinates that Wyatt's mom gave them the second time, and the cop took a picture of the GPS. Compare it to the GPS coordinates in which they were trying to get a tow from. But what if I were to tell you that not only does a waypoint need to be physically saved on this exact type of GPS, you have to intentionally say, mark this spot, or else it doesn't automatically save. It records your tracks automatically, but those are just saved coordinates. And it turns out you can actually delete tracks. It's super easy. You just go into the main menu and you delete it off of your.
So let me break that down to y'all. What it means is the GPS can be manipulated. And you can find this online. I did not know this. So this makes a lot of sense, because if you guys listen to what they said and, you know, these different, back and forths that they did, but I want to throw another thing out there at y'all. They're saying that there were multiple boats. When I say multiple, I'm saying boats that were not added to this report. Okay, think about that.
Your data. So why is this GPS data, which is right here, so much further away than what the GPS says it is later? There is no data included in that GPS report that explains them going from here to here, unless someone went in and deleted those tracks. because they probably dropped that waypoint once they anchored, which would explain why Warren said they showed up at 10:30 and the GPS says that they showed up after 11. And so then it wasn't until half an hour after the canceled tow that they dropped another waypoint. And mind you, the exact same GPS was used in both boats, and Wyatt/Jerry's boat has the tracks and routes where Bart's does not. And again, it tracks it automatically. So you have to intentionally delete those tracks. And why did they do that? Well, it turns out Jerry Atkinson just so happens to be the owner of Ocean Marine Group in Ocean Springs and Gulfport, which is literally a boat dealer. So guess who's gonna know that information? We already know Grandpa Jerry was in the mix, because the only way that he could have canceled the sea tow before it even started to head out is if Wyatt had called Jerry first and Jerry told him to call for a sea tow and then canceled it for him, which would explain why he couldn't give any descriptions of where the water was. How high was it? We know that the sea tow did not bring in the boat. In fact, Bart's mother came on Facebook and said that there are pictures from my son's boat of the boat about to be towed, which is clearly who is about ready to tow them here, as Wyatt is on the phone. I can tell you 100% that this is not a sinking boat. You can see Bart bringing them in this picture. But Bart was supposedly the one yelling at Nolan to get on the boat, remember? Why would he be yelling at Nolan to get on a boat that's sinking? Unless he was telling Nolan to get on his boat. And Warren accidentally explained what really happened with the engine. Whatever happened with Nolan happened on Bart's boat, allegedly, which is of Bart's information.
Again, guys, what she's saying is accurate. When you look at this report, guess whose information it is? Bart's.
Was deleted. So here's what happened. Both this one and this one confirmed that there was a fight that broke out on the beach. Started out with him, ended up with Warren's little brother. His uncle.
Remember, I told you all the fight that they're talking about, but they say it was Tristan, and then they say it was one of the brothers. I don't remember if they said Wyatt, or I think it was Warren's brother is what they say. I don't believe that. I believe it was a fight that broke out, but I don't believe it was them two.
Says, we gotta go. They hop on a boat and they leave. He grabs his drunk younger brother and says, we're getting out of here too. 3 o'clock. This whole caravan is trying to get the hell out of there because they're drunk and fighting. Wyatt's boat was in such a hurry that they couldn't figure out how to put the freaking trim down, which caused the motor to overheat, quickly stranded them, and Bart had to come help them. The time that Bart shows up, something has happened between him and Nolan. They're all distracted trying to fix the bilge pump because it didn't trim down. The waves were crashing over the boat and into the bilge pump, short-circuiting it. During this, some people have figured out that Nolan is gone. Other people just think that he's passed out or something, which is why Wyatt calls his grandfather to figure out
He was with Katie at
30 in the morning.
Oops, I'm sorry, y'all.
That Nolan is.
So the reason why I wanted to stop it, because she has a lot of good points. If you guys remember listening to that call and then listening to her, how she explained it, is like, yeah, okay.
Gone. Other people just think that he's passed out or something, which is why Wyatt calls his grandfather to figure out what the F to do. And as the phone call is being made, more people are figuring out something's wrong with Nolan. That's why they didn't start moving again for 30 minutes. They were coming up with a plan and figuring out.
Listen, if you guys look at the report, they stood there for about 30 something minutes, which wouldn't make sense. What are you guys doing?
How to make it work. Run out of time, but don't worry, I'm doing a follow-up to this video.
So, okay, so I'm going to read this super chat. You said, can you, Marcus, 3XTZ TV, thank you for the $10 super chat. Can you pull up the 5-second clip Tatum released on the boat told there is a mixed person wearing shorts? Is that Tristan? Okay, so I tried to, let me see if I can find it, because honestly, I don't even know what video it is. Let me see if I can just guess, because I don't know which video it was. He has like so many videos. I have no idea which one it is. I tried to go to his page and look it up, but I really don't know which one it is. If you know which one, you can probably drop it in the link, but I really don't know. I'm trying to see if I can quickly find it, but let's see here. I don't think I know which one it is. But let's see. Let's see. Maybe I think I found it. This is not it. Yeah, I don't know which video it is, unfortunately. If you know, you can definitely drop the link, but otherwise, I don't know Marcus. I've just went to his channel. He has a bunch of videos. I don't know which one is the video for the one that you're talking about. If you guys are, I mean, if you know the link, you can drop it and I'll certainly click on it, but I have no idea which link it is because he has so many videos and I don't know. There's, you know, just if I go by the titles, it don't really say, like, it just, I don't know which video it is. I'm gonna go back and look. Yeah, I have no idea which video this is. So like I said, if you know the link, go ahead and drop it and I'll definitely click on it. But let's see. Thank you for the 440 jewels, big baby. Soldier for God. Thank you for the 100. Angel Hardrick. Is that Angel Hardrick? Am I saying it right? Yep. Thank you for the 350 jewels. Angela Hardrick. Angela again, thank you for the 80 jewels. Angela, you all up in here. Angela, thank you for the 10 jewels. And Audrine Edwards, thank you for the 30 jewels. Let's see, we got R. Clark, thank you for the 440 jewels. Journey, thank you for the 2 jewels. Clevin McClendon, thank you for the 200 jewels. Miss Ava, thank you for the 2 jewels. Oh, David, King David. I don't think I read this. Let me read your super chat. The only reason you would deny the Coast Guards, which would be faster service, is because the Coast Guards are federal officers. Federal officers' office. Yeah, exactly. You're sinking, but you don't want help. These are the things that don't add up. Is it Detective Lunsky? Gone Detective. I think that's what that means. Thank you for the 10 jewels. Bean BJ. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I don't think I read this. What if the operator was questioned about what she heard? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everybody needs to be questioned. Michelle Wallace, thank you for the 30 jewels. Michelle Wallace, thank you for the 250 jewels. Let's see. Lorraine, thank you so much for the 350 jewels. And Kawana, thank you for the 51 jewels. Now back to you, Marcus. I do not have the link, Marcus. I do not know which video it was. But what I can do is later on, I can look through the videos. I don't know which video it was. I know I had shared it over here before. I just don't remember which video it was. But y'all, we're going to get up out of here. I'm going to be back later, though, because I'm working on something, but I don't want to talk about it until I'm finish my research. So let me make sure y'all understand. We're not going nowhere. We are going to continue to talk about Nolan Wells. Obviously, if new information come out, we're going to talk about that as well. But we standing on business over here. We're not scared of nothing. Okay. We're not changing our stance. The audio that you guys have heard is not fake. Okay. It is a valid audio that you yourself can go and download. Did y'all know that? You can go and download it. So it's not like a secret audio that only certain people have. Okay. So just want y'all to, know that. Thank you all for supporting the channel. I appreciate you guys. If you want to donate, I'm going to put it in the chat. And also, if you guys are not a member, you may want to go ahead and get your memberships because we will be going live tonight at 9:00 p.m. On your way out, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Kia, clear, spilling tea, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't. Lives right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. No. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk, lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk, lives right here. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk, lives right here.
Stretch words like
spilling tea.